Good morning, my fellow booktubers. I thought I would go ahead and film today's video. In fact, this might be the only video I will film before we, go visit my sister, because I'm working, unless I'm off on Tuesday, I'm working Sunday and Monday. Although I'm getting home pretty early on Sundays, I could film then. This might not be the last one, I don't know. I gotta figure out what day is the 19th and what days I have off, Because like I said, I don't like to film days when I'm working, when I have to go to work, even if I get home, like, at a decent hour. But like I said, tomorrow, I should say, because today's Saturday. Tomorrow I will be getting home around the afternoon, like around close to 2, so I could film then. Good news, it's going to be finally sunny again, so I will also be able to run that day. Like, I was all set to run yesterday, which is Friday, and then it was sunny for a little, well, it was cloudy most of the day. Then I figured, it's not going to start to rain until the evening, so I started to get ready, and then it started getting more and more cloudy. It's like, oh crap, I can't go, and so I was getting ready to change, but then I look at my window, and it's really sunny out, and just as I'm like, oh, well, I don't need to change after all. It's a good thing I didn't get very far in changing back into my regular clothes. And then, just as soon as I was about to, put my, getting ready to go out, the sky opened up, and it started pouring rain. So it's like, great, so I can't go. The good news is it didn't happen while I was already out there, because that has happened to me before, and I think that is partly what ruined my last iPod, and I did not want to ruin this one, because I had just got it, like, as in last year, at some point. So, as a gift for my mom, so I was like, I don't want to ruin this one, although this one is a newer, oh wait, no, I actually bought it, that's right, I actually bought it for myself, because it's a lot of money, so it was one of my big purchases. So, yeah, I didn't get to run. I'm hoping I might run today, as long as it stays sunny today. I don't know what the weather's, if we're calling for rain again. But anyway, on to what this video is about. So I thought I would update you, since, as I've said before, I can't do vlogs. So I thought I would update you guys on my reading so far for the Medieval-a-Thon. I still have not got very far. I've only gotten 2 books done. And like a lot of people on BookTube, I'm a rude reader, so the books I picked have changed a little bit. Partly because I realized that I picked a lot of tomes, books that is going to take forever for me to get. I mean, they're not even 500-page books, they're like plus. Like, Priory of the Orange Tree was on my list, because that's dragging on, because it was more like at the time I was reading it, and I want to read it. And I'm still reading it, obviously. I'm debating about bringing it with me when we go see my sister, because it's a hardback. It's not the paperback one. The paperback hasn't even come out in the US, so it's a pretty heavy book. So I don't know if I want to bring that. And then all of a sudden I had this desire to read, this urge to go ahead and read Shaman's Crossing, which is a Robin Hobb book. It has nothing to do with her Realm of the Elderlings world. It's a totally separate thing. Kind of like how Skyward by Brandon Sanderson is separate from his Cosmere universe. So I had this desire to read the first book, and that's also a hardback edition, because it's one of the ones that I got at the Givens bookstore, and they didn't have the mass market paperback, which is what I aim to buy, especially when it comes to where I'm buying a lot of books by the same author. I try to get but as I said previously, I understand the appeal of hardback books because they are aesthetically pleasing. They're just heavy and hard to carry around. And I can get that, the whole thing about the dust jackets being really annoying and people wanting to take them off. But I have this thing where if there's nothing on the plain hardback, if the hardback book is plain with the dust jacket off, then I don't want to take it off. Which I still kept King of Scars dust jacket on, because I've always kept dust jackets on. But that one, I wouldn't mind taking the dust jacket off because it has a pretty emblem on it. It has the family, Nikolai's family crest on it. So I would take that one off. But anyway, so I did, like I said, I've read 2 books now. I already talked about The Demon King in my last video, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about Kings of the Wild, and yay, I said the right name, because lately, unless I'm actually looking at the book, I keep calling it The Way of Kings, and it's not The Way of Kings. Way of Kings is the name of the Brandon Sanderson book. This is Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames, about essentially a group of, they were retired mercenaries who decided to get their band back together when one of their own, the leader of the group, his daughter, has decided to follow in her footsteps, and now she's trapped in the city of Castia that is being sieged by the bad guy, Lastleaf, who is a Droon, which I think is basically a druid, a wizard, with bunny ears. And so that tells you that this book is going to be so funny. It's hilarious. It makes you giggle. I'm not one of those people who, most of the time, I'm more of someone who just gets angry and yells when there's injustice in the story, or like people are being unfair to someone, or like if a character doesn't believe someone when they have like a gift or magical power or something. But I don't cry that all. I rarely cry because, as I've said, I have a heart of stone apparently. And I don't always laugh. I'm more prone to laugh when there's a funny moment, but I don't always. So I didn't laugh out loud, but I think other people will laugh out loud because there are so many funny moments in this book. But there was a lot of giggling, like, of course, the rabbit ears thing. The bad guy has rabbit ears. That is wow. He's scary, but then he has the rabbit ears. He's still scary. It reminds me of, I'm sure a lot of people compare this to Monty Python, which is something I've never seen, but I know a little bit about it, enough to know that this is probably very similar to Monty Python as far as humor goes. And it's also has a lot of heart. It's about, at the root of it is about love. The love these guys have for each other. The love that 2 of the main characters, the leader, Gabriel has for his daughter, and Clay has for his daughter, our narrator. In fact, it's his daughter saying, "Would you come for me if it was me in Rose's place?" That is what motivates him to go, because he is reluctant to go because it's dangerous, and he's old, and they're not as good as to quote the Toby Keith song, they're not as good as they once were. They're old and overweight. But Clay finally realizes after his daughter says, "Would you come for me, Dad?" He needs to go. He needs to help his friend rescue his daughter. And like I said, it's about the root of the story is this group of friends, this group of guys who are completely different, but together they make a band, a badass band. So many great characters. Of course, I love our main character, Clay. He's awesome. He's loyal. He's such a good guy. Yes, he has a bit of a temper, but he's the heart of the group. And then I love, Moog. He's adorable. He's funny. He's such a sweet cinnamon roll of a character, and he's so quirky. He's like that character that, on the surface he doesn't seem like much of a threat, and he's constantly, you think, oh, he's gonna pull out a weapon or something, and then he just pulls out like a rubber chicken or something. But it turns out to be a rubber chicken that can explode or something. And I think he's a character that a lot of people underestimate him. And I think he's he's my favorite. And then you have And of course, I have a soft spot for characters that are father figures, or actual fathers in this case. Like Gabriel and Patrick are fathers, and they are loyal to their children, will do whatever it takes to protect them. And everyone keeps telling Gabriel that all the villainous characters are telling him, oh, what's the point? It's too late. They're all gonna die. You're not gonna win. You're just a bunch of old guys who are are totally incapable. And the whole time I'm thinking, you expect him to abandon his daughter? No. He's not going to abandon her. Yeah, he could die. He might not survive this, but he's not going to give up on saving his daughter and protecting her and helping her. It's his child. It's, I mean, of course, the bad guys don't have kids themselves, so they can't even begin to know. Although sometimes, especially, sometimes there are some people that, even if they have kids, they don't understand them because they're just bad parents and they shouldn't be parents at all. Like, our bad guy, Lastly, even if he had a kid, he probably wouldn't be a good dad. He'd be a horrible dad. He'd probably follow in his own father's footsteps, who was also a bad father. I also kind of like, what is her name? What is her name? She's a bad guy. Sabetha. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Or Larkspur. And if you read the book, you'll know why I refer to her by two names. She's an assassin with wings, and she has kind of a siren-like power, where she's this beautiful allure that could hypnotize men. And I don't know if it affects women too. I think it does, because I think it did kind of affect the character of Jane, who I also like as well. I mean, I love all the characters. I even love Lastleaf as a character. He's such an interesting, and you kind of do feel a little bit bad for him when you find out his backstory, which I think most of the time, when you hear a bad guy's backstory, as long as they're not just evil for the sake of evil and like twirling their mustaches, being like, I want to destroy the world, or I want to take over the world, as long as it's not that, and they actually have a little bit of backstory, I think you feel at least pity for them. And pity does not mean you like them or you condone their behavior. It just means you feel sorry for them. Pity does not mean you're not like, oh, it's okay, they're just misunderstood. It's not. Pity is not that. Pity, in fact, a lot of times people don't like to be pitied. Because, they feel like, I don't want you to feel sorry for me. But Larkspur she's such a badass character. She's awesome, and like I said, you kind of pity her for her backstory as well. But you also kind of like her, especially in the middle. You start to like her. And she's actually, I think she has a good heart deep down. I think she does have a heart. It's just she keeps it repressed because of what happened in her childhood. And she's now an assassin who, can easily kill you. But I think she does have a softer side to her that she doesn't show because she feels like she has to be an evil bitch to survive. And she's full of such anger and rage after what happened to her as a child and how she was treated. Let's see what else. Oh, and it also, I don't know, I'm not going to tell you what happens exactly, but it does have I am one of those people who loves the trope that happens towards the end of this book. I think that is really awesome and great. It makes me feel really good that when that happens. You see it all the time in movies and TV shows when there's a big ensemble cast. And it's so great. And I don't really have any negative things to say about this book. It was fun. It was funny. I love most of the characters. There's no character that I didn't like. Let's see. What else can I say? It's not real. The chapters are very quick, so it was a quick read. Yes, it's a chunky read, and it did take me a while, but that's because I have this bad habit of, I will start reading books, but then I'll get distracted by other books. And sometimes beginnings of books, it takes me several chapters to read before I get into, although not that this one had really this problem. I was into it, but then, like I said, I got distracted by other nice, shiny new books. And I also love the whole, how the author decided to kind of do this whole theme of, like, treating the character, these mercenary band as, like, rock stars. It kind of reminded me of, I don't know if it was Johnny Depp who said it or someone else who said it, but I think it was Johnny Depp. Talking about pirates from Pirates of the Caribbean were like, pirates were like rock stars, and I feel like this is like what Nicholas Eames is saying, is that like these mercenary bands were the rock stars of the medieval world. Although it's more not the authentic medieval world, because I don't know if the authentic medieval world actually had some of these monsters that are in this book. I mean, maybe they did. Although I'm pretty sure it's more like people that had these disformities and disabilities and diseases and stuff, and that people were like superstitious back then and were afraid and didn't understand it and didn't have all the medicine and technology we have today. So it's like people were assuming these people that have these things, like there is a Wolfman disease, hypertrichosis, which means basically you have excessive body hair that will keep growing even if you shave it, and that stems from the whole werewolf thing. So, I mean, maybe there really were magical creatures. I mean, I love the idea of there actually being dragons and dwarves and elves and fairies and all that. I think that's such a cool concept. And I do believe, I mean, I like to say that I'm someone that, like, that I don't have to have proof to believe it. But unfortunately, I think no. But so far, I admit that I haven't seen anything like that. I've only read about it in books. So I don't know what prompt. I mean, like I said, I thought, ooh, there's something. It could be used for a few prompts. Like there's swords on the cover, so there's something pointy on the cover. But there's also red in the book. There's red on the cover. It'll probably be better than the other book I was gonna pick that had red on it, because I didn't want to pick the mime order, even though that has more red on it. Because not the mime order. The Bone Season, because that has a lot more red, and then the other book is between that one and Enchanté. And but I didn't want to pick that one because I was already reading The Priory and the Orange Tree, so I didn't want to be picking two Samantha Shannon books at the same time as part of this readathon. But I could use this for red on the cover. There's Mercenaries, although I'm reading Theft of Swords, which also is about mercenaries. There is an assassin in the book as well. So if I could count that. But the assassin, she's a main character, but she's not who the story's about. It's about these guys on the cover. So I don't know. I just, again, a lot of these books I'm just picking because I need to read them. But anyway, like I said, I like the whole 80s references. I think that's cool. And again, I don't have anything negative to say about this book. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I read it, and I had such a good time. The only thing is, if it's not your kind of humor, or if you don't like stories about a group of guys, or this. Other than that, I have nothing to say. Nothing negative to say. It's a hilarious book, and I can't wait to read Bloody Rose. Like I said, I probably won't get to it right away, though. Okay, so currently it's over there. I thought I brought it over. I'll be right back. I'm also currently, for the next book, I'm currently reading a next book that also has a red on the cover. I am reading Sword of Destiny, and originally I picked this book because it has this world does have elves in it, but I But I feel like it is reaching a little bit because the elves aren't the main characters. And I don't even know if the elves are really in this book. Like, they might have been brought up. But I don't know if they are in this. I know they were in The Last Wish, which I already read, and I'm not going to reread it. But I know there are elves in this world. I just don't know if they are in this collection of stories. But this is the Witcher series, the second collection of short stories, which I have been recommended to read this one first. Read this one and The Last Wish first. So before I get to the actual series, which is Blood of Elves is the first book. So I'm assuming that definitely has elves as major characters in the story. And this is what the video game is based on, which I've already said that each time I talk about this book series. So I'm sure you guys got the message by now. This is about, I can't say last name, Andres or something, about this guy who is a monster hunter, and I say it's a cross between Buffy the Vampire Slayer and I meant to look this up. I totally forgot. The series called, I don't remember what it's called, like the Seventh Son series or something, about the kid that is trying to be a spook, basically a monster hunter. It's a middle grade YA series. I think it's like Harry Potter, where the main character, you age with the main character, like the main character grows up throughout the series. Because he starts out as 12, which made me think it was middle grade. And the writing style also makes me think of middle grade. But I think he does get at least to age 16 or 18. I don't know. But it's a fun series. I only read up to the first few books. Like up to book 3 or 4, I think. But that's just me. I just lost interest. But it's still an interesting plot. The writing does get repetitive a little bit, and I don't like how, and I don't like how he is basically the same descriptions for women and stuff like that. But anyway, this reminded me of a more mature, more engaged, more adult version of that as well, but also kind of reminds me of Buffy. And I'm already liking this a little bit better. But to be fair, it could be just that I read The Last Wish which is ironic because I'm bringing this with me to go see my sister, but I read it when we were at my sister's house, and there were a lot of distractions, and, I didn't have a lot of quiet time. The only time I get really quiet time at her place. I still end up bringing more, 5 books with me, though, when I go, but, and I'm already thinking about some big chunky books that I don't know, it's debatable if I should actually bring them, because there's really, I rarely get a chance to actually read. And then I also want to use the opportunity to get on BookTube and, maybe work on my writing a little bit. Of course, work on my writing, unfortunately, becomes my last priority, which it shouldn't be. But, the only time I get a chance to really read is, unless I bring a book with me when we take them to the park or something, is when the boys are taking a nap, or in the car when we're traveling places. That's the only chance I get to read. So I don't know why I bring so many. It's just I can't decide which books I want to read, and then there are books I want to get to. I keep thinking, oh, I need to bring this book with me because they bought this book for me, so I need to show that I'm actually reading it. But then there's this one, oh, I need to bring it with me because I have to get this book done for the readathon. And the good news is I have all month, so I still don't know if I'll get 6 books in a month. But anyway. But so far, I'm liking this better than The Last Wish. It's more interesting. But with all that being said, I was saying all that because maybe part of the problem is I was reading it then when there was too many distractions. So maybe that was not a good time to read. Although The Last Wish was not a bad collection. It was interesting. And I like that we got introduced to the character and got to know him, and it's kind of cool that the author has decided to write a bunch of short stories first, and then wrote the main series. I think that's kind of interesting, different take on how to go about things, and maybe it helped him. It probably helped him a lot to, just start out small, and then build to an epic series. But this one, so far, we've once again we're with Geralt. The first story was about him essentially, like, he does not believe in killing dragons. He won't kill dragons, and he is confronted by this guy who he was fighting this monster for this group of people, this monster that reminded me of an octopus, and he runs into this guy, this good-looking guy who's like, hey, come have a drink with me, let's hang out, and he's like, well, just so you know, I'm a witcher, because witchers have this bad reputation. And they start talking about dragons, and he asks him, do you believe in gold dragons? And Geralt says he doesn't. But then there is a dragon in the next village, and it turns out it's a gold dragon. There's a green dragon there, but there's also, they find a gold dragon there, which supposedly does not exist, is a myth. And the king has said that he wants someone to slay his dragon. So his advisor hires this really buffoon of a knight who's, although you gotta give him props, he's very old-fashioned. Like, he kind of, old-fashioned ideas and heroics and stuff, but of course he fails. And then this group of dwarf, I think they're mercenaries, they decide that they're gonna kill the dragon, but a sorcerer that is with them is like, no, you can't kill a dragon, because he kind of thinks the way Geralt does about dragons. And, of course, unlike Geralt, he thinks all monsters should be protected and saved, and you shouldn't kill them. But Geralt believes that most monsters should be killed. That most monsters are dangerous, or they can become dangerous. And he, of course, runs into Dandelion, the troubadour, I think, and Yennefer. And Yennefer wants to take something of the gold dragon, like his scales or something, for some reason, for like a potion, because you found it in the last collection of short stories that she can't have babies. And so she is told that she needs to get these dragon scales or something from the dragon for this guy to make a potion for her, so that she can maybe cure her problem with her inability to have kids. And so it's all about that encounter and everything, and then the second story, they are in this town, he is with Yennefer, they are in this town, and, oh wait, no, I think this is the town with the octopus monster. Yeah, I think this is the story with the octopus monster that he had to fight in the beginning of the story. So he's fighting that, and he's kind of a little cranky right now and bitter, and he doesn't want to stay here, but Yennefer's off seeing the sorcerer. Let me see if I can get, dang it. And Yennefer she wants to stick around. He's like, can we go already? Okay, I don't want to stick around to deal with this anymore, monster. Yeah, this is the one with the octopus monster. And she's off to see the sorcerer, Istred. And she's been spending all this time with him, making the Geralt even more cranky. And I kind of read ahead and found out, something's going on between the two of them, and Geralt's not going to be happy about it. So, I've only read 2 stories, and I haven't even finished the second one. There are 6 stories. I read the first story, so I'm on story number 5, which is almost done. And this one has short chapters. The first one had one really long chapter, but a lot of short chapters. Actually, two or three really long chapters. And then Shard of Ice, the chapters are really short. Eternal Flames, the next one. So yeah, I'm definitely enjoying this a little bit more than the other one. But I really like Geralt's character. I'm not sure how I feel about Yennefer as a character, because she's kind of being a bit of a hoe right now and is really pissing me off. But I like Geralt. I like Dandelion. Elliot Brooks says it's Dandelion, so I'm going to go with that for now, unless I hear it any other way. Although, I think she said that in audiobooks or in other sources, because I started watching World Hoppers last night, which is her and a couple other fantasy reader booktubers talk about, like, fantasy books and their favorites and adaptations and all that kind of stuff. And she had talked about the pronunciation. She and some of them had talked about pronunciation of words in fantasy books, and how sometimes audiobooks pronounce them differently, how they think they are pronounced when they read the book. And then, of course, the true pronunciation is only the author knows. And not all the audiobook narrators, they were saying that they don't necessarily get the actual pronunciation of a book, of a book's character. But I think it is important to try to get it, especially in a book like this. Especially if it's, like, translated from another country, which this is. I think it's Poland. I think this is a Polish novel. And it's so cool, especially because it was written so long ago. But, and it does have a different kind of writing style, which, another, when I was, again, watching Elliot Brooks, she kind of reminded me of that, and now I'm finally noticing it, because I don't usually notice the writing style. I don't think about that when I read. As long as I'm engaged in the plot, I don't think about it. I mean, there are certain writing styles that even I can tell that it's different, but I can't necessarily pinpoint exactly why. I can't, like, explain why it's different. But, this one, like, I don't know if I mentioned it in when I talked about The Last Wish, but in this one, yeah, there's things like sentences that here in the US we would consider them run-on sentences, but I think she was saying how in Poland that was considered good writing. And I definitely noticed that right away in the first couple pages that there was a run-on sentence that had, like, there are sentences that have, Geralt was standing behind the tree that was gnarled and was big, and, and while he had his cloak on, and, like a sentence where it, has, like, it has the comma to separate but it just feels like too long, at least to me, who studied, I don't know, I mean, yes, I've read, British books, and I'm starting to read Russian literature, but our grammar is very different from theirs, from other countries' grammar. I think, the UK is probably the only country where the grammar is similar. And I'm saying England, I'm not saying, like, Scotland or Ireland, because, I mean, Scottish has its own dialect, practically. But anyway, so I'm going to read a little bit more of this. I want to get at least halfway done with this before we go. Because, like I said, part of the problem, I think, why I didn't enjoy The Last Wish as much is because I was distracted a lot, and I didn't get a lot of privacy. And then, of course, there wasn't, when I did get quiet time, it was really quiet. And I like a little bit of noise. Like, especially, like, I love it when my parents are home and I'm in my room or outside on the back deck reading my book, but I can still hear the steady sounds of the TV. Like, I know that my parents are home watching TV or something, or my mom's in the kitchen cooking. That you can still hear it, but it's muffled enough that it doesn't distract me. And I don't like it when it's completely quiet, even if there is the sound of, like, the air conditioning or the floor creaking or something. You know, it's not but I'm not going to give up. And like I said, I still will probably bring books with me when we go to see my sister, because, you know, I want to get as much reading time as I can done. Like I said, this one isn't as long. It's a little bit shorter than the first one. And then, I'm curious to find out what the other ones are about. So, like the Eternal Flame, and then A Little Sacrifice. I wonder if that's going to be a sad one. And then Sword of Destiny, the title story, which is going to be interesting because I've been told that the original copyright was 1993. So does that mean that it got published in the U.S. in 1993 originally? I wonder how old the author was. But anyway, I've been told that Geralt does not, and I don't know if they talked about this. I think they talked about this on The Last Wish, that he doesn't believe in destiny. So it's going to be interesting. And from watching Elliot talk about the series, especially now that the show is coming, that's why I'm more determined than ever to get these books read, as much of the series read as possible. That essentially his destiny is intertwined with Yennefer's and another character, which I'm guessing will probably be brought up in the series. And I'm wondering if the series is kind of going in the direction of what I was thinking for my fantasy that I want to write about, that I intend to write about, like where there's a character, a little girl character that is magic itself, like in human form. Which I mentioned in the show earlier, Buffy. I got inspired by Buffy with that in season 5. So, that's where I'm at. And I did start reading Homeland by Arya Salvatore, the first book in the Dark Elf trilogy, which probably has more elves and it is more about elves than that one. So, and it doesn't look like that long. It looks like it would be a quick read, even though it's a chunky read, but it's not that chunky. And it's from the publishers of Dragonlance Saga, which is really cool because I remember loving the Dragonlance Saga. And I've been tempted to rebuy it. Like, there are hardback copies of some of the books from that series, but they might be gone by the time I come. And like I said, they're hardback. And hardback is still, it's still $4 or $5, which is not that expensive compared to like $30, but still, But the only thing I buy is that, as long as I have the money to write my parents a check every month, I don't think they care. And as long as, I think the only thing my mom cares is that I do get rid of some of the books that I have here so I will have more room for other books. But I have seen booktubers who will double stack their books. Although it doesn't always look nice, though. So, that is what's going on with Medieval-a-Thon right now. Like I said, I might be able to do another video. I do not know. And I don't know. But, as always, I hope you guys are enjoying your reading. If you like this video, be sure to give a thumbs up and click subscribe if you have not already. And I will talk to y'all later. Alright, bye!